What do you want? What do you want for your future? Yeah, absolutely. It's quite fun navigating this whole perimenopause, late diagnosed neurodivergent thing. But of course, it's also an amazing opportunity to begin to live our lives as our unmasked self, as our authentic self. And that authentic self may well want different stuff from what you're currently doing. So, do you know what it is you want in the future for your future? If you do, then great. But how clearly do you know it? How much have you really started to give yourself permission to have it in the future? A good way to start is to write it down. You can pick different areas of your life, like career, or if you're retiring, it could be like voluntary stuff you'd like to do, personal development, health and fitness, relationships, family, friends, fun and recreation, where you want to live, all that sort of stuff. And write down what you want. Put it on paper so that you can see it, so that it's a thing. And if you feel like actually you don't know what you want, but you're full of stuff that you don't want, most of my clients turn up to work with me because of something they don't want, something they want less of, something they want to stop, something they want to resolve, to go away and not be a problem anymore. And that's cool. So if you are in that situation where you don't actually know what you want, but you do know what you don't want, try writing down, again, in all those sort of important life categories for you, what you don't want, and then consider what the opposite of that might be. That's a good place to start. And it's so important to do this, to know what we want rather than what we don't want. Because when we don't want something, then obviously once we've resolved it, then there's just like a space. But we don't really know where to head to. It's really important to have a destination, a point where you want to get to. So when it's just full of don't wants, it's kind of, okay, well, so I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that. Which way am I going? So you want to get as clear as possible on what it is that you do want. So start with those opposites, see how they feel. And then when you've got that list of what you do want, the thing to do is check it. Because let's face it, Queen Ages, we have had decades of patriarchal programming. Whether we've experienced it much externally, it's definitely internal, it's definitely in there. And it could be limiting our thinking. And also, because what we want to do is we want to make sure that the things we want are the things that we actually want, right? And it's allowed to be a work in progress. If you still feel that you're very much at the beginning of your perimenopause journey and you're understanding your neurodivergent traits journey, that's fine. But start somewhere. Start now with somewhere you think you might like to end up. So just check that it's what you want. Often we find ourselves, because of all that programming, kind of doing what we think society expects us to do, or people in our lives expect us to do, family or whatever. And that programming can be so deep that we're not even aware that we're already shrinking down or compromising on what we really want. We're just kind of doing it automatically. So really check in. And a good way to check in is, once you've got your list of what you do want, look at each thing in turn and kind of check in how it feels inside your body. If it's feeling like, oh, yeah, that would be good. Yes, I definitely want that. Great. Then you know you're aligned. It's definitely something that you yourself want. But if you're looking at it and it's like, yeah, because, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's, yeah. Or kind of, yeah, then it's not really. It could be that really you are compromising or shrinking or limiting what you actually want because you are worried about the responses of people around you. And that's fine. You may find, let's take a situation where something that seems to be cropping up a lot is couples getting into their sort of late 50s. The bloke is kind of like, oh, I've done I've done it now. I've worked really hard all these years. I want to retire and get a camper van and go on lots of holidays, travel around and live the bohemian lifestyle kind of thing, as if we were young again, which is great. And if you fancy doing that too, brilliant. Quite a lot of us, though, are feeling, I kind of spent my life compromising what I want to look after other people. And, you partner, you've been able to flourish because I was raising the kids or, whatever it was. And career-wise, I've been doing bitty little jobs that fitted around my other responsibilities. But actually, I think I might quite like to start my own business. Or, I might like to level up my career. I might like to really go for it and see exactly what I'm capable of. So there you've got a mismatch, right? So first thing is, be honest about it with yourself. All you have to do is share it with your pen and paper right now. You don't have to have any conversations with anybody else, but at least be true to yourself. Figure out what's important to you in your own mind and be brave enough to put it on paper. And that's fine. So it's important that you are clear on what it is you want. And if you then decide, for whatever reason, to compromise on that, it's kind of like, yeah, I would like that, but actually, I do value my relationship and I would quite like to travel or whatever, then fine. But at least you're making that compromise with awareness. At least you are putting yourself in an empowered position and going, I know what I want, and I'm choosing to compromise on it for my greater good. Yeah. So it's always worth starting with knowing what you deep inside want. So have a go at that exercise. Let me know how it goes for you. See what comes up. But this is the start of you figuring out how you want to do your amazing zebra life from now on. And who knows how much time we have left. And so if there are dreams as yet unlived and potential that you feel is as yet untapped, then let yourself, give yourself permission to really want something in your future. And yeah, just take it from there. See how it goes from there.